Hey folks, Steve here. How you doing? Today I've got a project, probably take all afternoon. First time I've ever done this. I am installing a reverse osmosis system. Here is just kind of an overview page that they sent me, really talking about the fittings, but that's the idea there. And the only modification I will have is I will have also a third filtration unit up here as opposed to that, and it will not go under the sink. I'm going to mount it in the basement, sinks up above, and I'll mount it to the wall over here. So, doing my research, read the instructions, I'll read them again. And also, I got the idea from a local contractor who has installed these before and, talks about it. And number two, I saw a video a long time ago and I thought, okay, well, let's watch it again. The Handyman, YouTube channel guy, 500,000 followers or better. Handyman. And he has at least two videos that I'm aware of where he is installing a reverse osmosis system. One from 5 years ago, as of right now, has him installing one underneath a... I guess it's in the sink cabinet itself. And then the second time, which is much more recent, he is actually installing it in a basement, and he is attaching a piece of plywood to the wall, and then he is mounting his system to that plywood. I'm going to use that system. We are using all of that sink cabinet space, and so therefore I really do need to have this mounted not under the sink. So I'm going to install it down here, and I hopefully will have all of the parts. Again, first time going through this, and so we'll see, but I bought extra parts, got an extra kit, all this kind of stuff, so I'm hoping that I have enough to make sure it happens today. If not, I'll know what parts I need, get them on order, or go find them at a local supplier, and then finish the job up. I'm just going to have you come along for the ride, and I'll show you what I've got going on as I do it. Oh, and this system is from APEC. It's the system that also employs a 3/8 tubing, 3/8 ID, OD tubing. Should be ID, so 3/8 ID tubing, as opposed to the 1/4 inch ID tubing, which was kind of the other APEC kit. So I want like mid-level kit. Okay, well, let's see what we've got. Okay, folks, here is what I have. When I unpacked it, this unit came pre-assembled as you see it. I bought this as an add-on. This is adjusting water alkalinity on the top here, and it came with two brackets, so I simply mounted that to the top, and I have instructions about the plumbing here. Otherwise, these canisters are your first, second, and third stage filtration, and they assemble onto this, and they come pre-packed with a filter, and there is an order to them. So the first stage on the extreme right is going to be a sediment filter. The second and third stage have this type of filtration system. It's a coconut carbon block filter, and it eliminates chlorine taste and odor reduction. Screws onto the bottom here. First stage, second, third stage. What I can see is the second and third stage look literally identical as far as the filter types. You just have two in sequence. I don't know if you can see down in there, but there is basically an alignment stud down in there that aligns with that hole there. It does not look like there's an up or down to this. So then it's just a matter of seating that, and then this should screw right up into there. Same thing with the second and the third stage filters. So on the carbon filtration, these two do have gaskets. And so I would just make sure that these gaskets remain fully seated after you take the packaging off. Again, there is no orientation up or down. And so far, there is the unit. And this unit, including the third filter, stands about 20 inches tall. This is my backer board that's going up on the wall here. It'll attach through screws with basically a key slot system. So you set it in, slide it over, and then it locks in. I will actually pin it so it holds itself to keep from sliding. So I'll actually put in a secondary screw just literally to hold it from sliding left or right, and then it'll be locked in until I need to take this off again. I'm putting this on the bottom because I have to do a vertical. I don't have a lot of wall space, so I'm going to do a vertical arrangement of the holding tank and this. I should read the instructions to make sure that I can put the holding tank above this. I don't think there's a problem with it, but I will check. And with that, I just want to make sure I have clearances and that I know that I can then mount everything according to plan once it's up on the wall. So the RO system works off of this particular small needle valve. It gave me an adapter, so this screws into that. 3/8 compression on this side, so you're tapping onto a line, then you can continue a supply that is unfiltered. And then to adapt this, because that could actually go onto, I believe it's 1/2 inch NIP or NPT, they also have this adapter, which allows you to go from a 3/8 compression through to a 3/8 compression. And then you get your needle valve in between. And this is the assembly I'm going to use, because it's going to go onto a new valve that I'm installing directly above me. And so I'll tap this into the line. This will go onto that. This I will cap off because I do not actually need any outfeed. And for this, there's your RO. Now this needle valve is not a quarter turn, so there is sufficient amount of, just like a gate valve actually, it's basically a gate valve. Alright, so kind of a monster, but there's my valve assembly right there. All to get that. Alright, so this is the unit. I'm ready to tie into my 3/4 PEX, which is up above. Everything else, I have 2 PEX joints, and then everything else here should be solid and connected. This thing here wants to be closed, and this valve is all closed. This valve is also closed. So valve is in, tied in up in there, and I just interrupted that, cut out about 1 inch, put in a T that went from 3/4 to 1/2 inch, and then brought the 1/2 inch line down. Just checking in with you. I need to run the drain line way over here, so I'm kind of coming around. Fortunately, I had a kit that I bought that had extra 3/8 inch parts for 3/8 inch tubing. And so I'm able to run the additional tubing that I have over to the unit, where I will tie in with a 1/4 to 3/8 inch plastic tubing union. So once I get the drain tube over here, then I attend to the supply, which is partially hooked up according to the instructions, and then I'm assuming that'll hook into the system, and the outlet is where I'll end up having to split off, go to the ice maker and to the small RO faucet that we have up there, and then I'll have to figure out how to connect into all those. All right, that's where I'm at. Nothing really to show you at the moment.
So these are the doors that I am gluing and ram setting to the foundation wall. So there's a whole bunch of PL some high strength construction piece of glue. So I'm using a ram set. I should have it here with me if I was prepared. A lot of people don't know what a ram set is.
overflow tank, storage tank to the T inlet. From the T inlet, you've got to loop it into the new filter, which is the pH adjuster, and then out to the faucet here, and I have a shutoff. I have a valve. Drain line is black. I transition from 1/4 inch to 3/8, and then that goes to the drain. Inlet from the water supply down into, this is called a leak detector, and then the leak detector into the filter system. So in, then through, into the RO membrane, and then this comes up into this. Flow rate is this way, flow rate is that way, flow rate is out to faucet, dedicated RO faucet, and also I will tie in my ice maker, but I do not have the right connection for the valve to do that. So I'll have to seek that out tomorrow at Lowe's Home Depot. I'll read through this, but it may be, and I have a valve because I can't hook in my ice maker. I left my ice maker hooked up to the regular water supply, so we have ice. First world problems. Can't go a day without ice, and it's winter. But beyond that, I have a valve on that, and so I can isolate that. And so that line kind of dead ends at a valve, and then ready to add on to the ice maker. Otherwise, this I believe is all the way through, and I'll double check, all the way through to the faucet. So I think we can do this. I have actually water to the valve, and so it's a matter of just turning that valve on and praying to the plumbing gods that all of these push-to-fit connections are correct. And I have one suspicion. Actually, I have two suspicions. One of them, when I transition from 1/4 inch black to 3/8 white, I don't know, but it's 50-50 on if I put a ferrule in there, because it's a plastic ferrule, if I put it in backwards. And that'd be on the 3/8 side. So that's one potentially. The other one is under the sink upstairs, I have a 1/4 inch line that comes down, and it had some unusual fitting on the bottom of that to go into, I don't know what it was supposed to go into, but none of the fittings I had worked. None. Yeah, none. And so I had to actually cut the line, and I had a 3/8 to 1/4 inch, what was it? Yeah, right here. I had one of these. 3/8 to 1/4 inch brass compression. And so I took the brass ferrules out, used plastic ferrules like I did up there, and then I sistered or unioned the 1/4 inch going up to the faucet to the 3/8 that comes down into the system. That 1/4 inch line was a bit finicky. It was almost like it was not a 1/4 inch, but almost like a metric. But everything here, U.S. plumbing, is based on fractional. So I don't know. That's the other suspicion. Will I leak up there, or will I leak there? Anything else, it's an accident, but I don't have any suspicions. I need to look through the rest of this just to make sure I've got all my ducks in a row, then I'm going to hit the water. You don't need to see me read this. So I looked through the instructions, and I turned the page, and the instruction says, "Congratulations, turn the water on." They have such confidence. Oh boy. Well, that's kind of the idea. Now, what's going to happen is this. Turn the water on. I'm not going to get a leak at the faucet. So if I turn it on, it's just then looking at this. Do I have any push to connect fittings that are leaking? Am I leaking up at my water supply? That kind of a thing. So that's what I'm going to be looking for here. It says that have that tank valve open. It is open. And so turn it on. You're going to hear water going through the system. And that tank should take, they say, 2 to 3 hours to fill. Once that tank is full, and I'll set an alarm on my phone. Once that tank is full, the system shuts off, and I guess it's audible. So then I can run the faucet for 5 minutes to drain the tank. That's impressive for flow rate. I will give them that. Once the water gets out of the tank, it'll drain to a trickle. It'll slow to a trickle coming out of the faucet. That way you know the tank is empty. Shut the system off. Don't drink any of that water, by the way. Shut the system off. Let it recharge, and then we're ready to go. So if I have no leaks, then tomorrow morning everyone's drinking filtered water, and we stop drinking tap water. The tap water conspiracies. And as long as I don't have any leaks. If I have any major leaks, then I've got some repair to do, but I'll repair it tonight because I want to be done with this tomorrow, with the exception of the ice maker, which is downstream that way. Okay, well, let's turn the water on. You can witness the leaks, witness maybe no leaks. I have confidence, but healthy confidence. Okay, this doesn't want to get wet. This does not want to get wet. On. Seem to shut off relatively quickly as far as making noise. Wait for tank to fill. Before usage, allow tank to fill. Tank normally takes 2 to 3 hours to fill. When the tank is full, the RO will automatically shut off. Guess it says shut off. It doesn't say stop making noise. So the noise I'm hearing is just air in the line and water kind of filling up everything. So at that point, I guess it's just then the pressure of the water pushing through all of the filters, and that then leads up to the tank to fill the tank. For the life of me, I'm not quite sure how water comes out of the tank and then back into the system. So that's interesting. I'll have to read up on that because there's only one line into the tank. That's it, one line. And it doesn't say it's gravity, it doesn't say anything else because it's a pressurized system. And so, not quite sure. Yeah, I don't know. So I have 2 possible areas that can leak now that I see this, and I don't see any issues at all. I don't see any water. One is on the drain line where I went transitioned from 3/8 to quarter, and the other is up under the sink where again I transitioned from 3/8 to quarter. At the moment, I think I have a reverse osmosis system to filter out all kinds of water. It's 3 stages, so stage 1, 2, 3. Stage 1 is particulates. Stage 2 and 3 are carbon-based filters, and this will tell me exactly what they do. Above that, then you have the reverse osmosis membrane. I don't know what that first one does here. The next one is some kind of a carbon filter again, and then I went ahead and purchased an add-on filter to adjust the pH. And what that does is that if you run a reverse osmosis and you do not have that particular filter, that it readjusts the pH after you take out all the minerals and everything else, that the water is going to apparently taste flat, or it can taste different than if you're used to tap water. And so the pH adjustment will actually get it back more like tap water. So that is why I went ahead and purchased that. And there was actually 1 or 2 more things I could have got there and stacked. We'll see. First time ever doing anything like this. First time ever really drinking filtered water other than buying bottled water. So I guess we will see. Thanks a lot for sticking with me, folks. I don't know if it was instructive or not, but I certainly learned a lot. The system that I have is called Essence. It's from the APEC water. And I'll tell you how it works. I'm assuming it'll work very, very well. I am excited to just have this up and running because it's one less thing on my list. I don't necessarily worry about bottled water or tap water or anything. I just don't worry about it. But I have people I live with who do. And so there you go. How much did this system cost? I'm going to say $400 or $500. If I remember, I'll try and look it up on Amazon, and I'll put a link below. I don't have an affiliate store or anything like that, but I'll put a link below, and I'll put a price somewhere, and so you can get an idea of what this was. I also bought an extra big kit of parts down here. I did not use very many of those parts, but I was prepared. And all of the stuff was 3/8. It only had 1 1/4-inch 3/8 push-to-connect adapter, which I should have used and did not. No, I think we're all set here. I'll let you know how it works. I'll give you an update at some point. And all right, you all take care. Have a good one. I know you deserve it. And if you would, please like and subscribe. Helps me out. Free to you. Hey, you all take care. Bye.